Thanks. Well, thanks a lot. I know it's really hot, so I'm going to tone down the 2-hour talk to just 15 minutes of really good stuff, all right? You're good at that? Okay, good. So I was on staff here right after that glacier came through and rose right somewhere in there a long time ago. Started in the kitchen, loved the kitchen. One of my most favorite memories in the kitchen was when a member of staff, Dwight Held, had showed people all his karate moves. And one night after a Wednesday night ceremony, we all came down to the kitchen, and he said, Jeff, you want me to see how I can split this watermelon? And I said, well, how do you hit it? I just hit it with my thing like this. I said, really? He said, I can do that. I was young, full of myself, thought I was really quite strong. He said, no, I don't think you'll hurt your hand. I said, yeah, we'll see if I'll hurt my hand. I went up to that watermelon sitting on that back counter right there. I smashed it, bam! Turns out they don't split. Exploded. I spent 30 minutes picking up seeds and watermelon crap off the ceilings and the walls. But that's not my best memory. One of my best, I have a million great memories. I came here as a camper. Roy Prang, one of the great leaders of the camp, right back here, was on the staff at the time. And I was barely 11 years old, 11 years and a month. I was at my first big outing. I wasn't eligible to work on any merit badge. I couldn't do anything. I'd go swim in the pool, do this, run around, eat some food. I couldn't do much, except one thing I could do. They said anybody can go out for the mile swim. So I said, I can't. I don't know that I can swim 100 yards. But that's one badge I could get. So I went to the pool the night of the mile swim, and I was 11 years old. I was about the same size as a beautiful young girl right here on her lap. That's how I was the tiniest little 11-year-old. Bauman might have been a little smaller than me, but otherwise I was little. And I went to the pool and I asked the staff member, I said, so is there a time limit on this? And he said, well, not really. You want to swim this? I said, I'm not a great swimmer, but I would like to get one badge here. And he said, if that's what matters to you, if that's important to you, I will stay as long as you keep swimming. This young man walked up and down, and when by near the end, when I was tired and just floating on my back doing this kind of thing, he walked up and down. I bet it took me an hour. I mean, it took me, everybody was out gone, back to their campsite, in bed probably by the time I got done. He stayed there. I got my badge. I went home, and I showed my mom and dad I had got a badge. That is one of the key pieces of scouting in general and this camp. It looked at not what's the matter with you. You're too young, you're too small, you're too old, you don't have abilities. It's what matters to you, your growth and development. To get people to grow and do better, to serve their community, it takes a couple things. It takes great structure and great people. Structure, we have the oath. We have the law. The oath talks about serving externally. The law gives us structure on how we're going to treat each other. I built an organization with 7,000 people serving 500,000 patients on that exact framework. The framework is, what are we going to do? What's our purpose? Who are we going to be? We're going to serve other people. We're not going to be the biggest. We're not going to make the most amount of money. We're not going to grow the fastest. We're not going to have the fanciest facilities. We are going to serve others. That's what we're going to do. Improve the health and well-being of communities, just like this camp. What are we going to do? Are we going to be the biggest camp, fanciest camp? We're not. We're going to serve others. So you get a purpose, the oath, the promise, gave a background to me, to our camp, and eventually to this organization that served millions of people and became a model for folks not only around the country but around the world. The next thing you do is people. People are so important. People are so important. The Boy Scouts know how important people are and how letting bad behavior in people can hurt an organization. It's where short-term thinking hurts you badly. Short-term thinking, you're building a team. This guy's kind of a jerk. He treats people badly, but boy, he's really smart. or he has a lot of money. Short term, maybe you get somewhere. Long term, bad plan. You lose all the other good people. You lose the good people. So we built an organization based on that. I was speaking at an environmental conference in Oxford, England, the university. There's 1,000 people from around the world. I had given my talk, and we were having question and answer, and somebody said, Dr. Thompson, what is the biggest waste that you see out there? And I'm sure they meant environmental waste. Was it plastics? Was it energy? Was it food waste? All those are massive, of course. But I spend a lot of my time mentoring young leaders, a lot of young women, and a lot of women of color. And so I said back to this person, to this whole crowd of environmental people, I said, the biggest waste that I see out there is the hearts and minds of young women, especially young women of color. Because we lose generation after generation because we don't build pathways that are inclusive, that involve people of all abilities and all strengths and all backgrounds. That is how you build a great team. That's how you build a great organization, a great scout camp. It's one of the things that we had it when we were here. The people on camp staff, talking to John Bauman recently, he said, I'm sure all the staff think they're in the golden generation. Maybe we all do. But we had people from multiple backgrounds who ended up doing different things. But they worked together for a common purpose and treated each other in a common set of values. Its purpose and its values. Back to the environmental. I built our environmental program. I didn't build it. We had a whole team build it. A team of people built an environmental program at Gundersen. We didn't come out and say, geez, worried about polar bears. I'm worried about flooding in Miami. We came out in 2007 and 2008 and said, we are causing pollution that makes people sick. We're putting particulate matter that makes old people that can't breathe. Children are eating mercury from the soil and the water that the coal is putting in there. That's not okay. If I'd have gone to my board and said I'm worried about climate change, they said, doesn't exist. But I went and said, we need to be better citizens. We need to serve better. And so we started out. And it was an uphill battle because I said, I'm going to lower the cost of care, I'm going to improve the local economy, and decrease our pollution. They say you can't do that because we know that it's either jobs or the environment, or the bottom line or the environment. That's the only way it is. I said, well, that's conventional wisdom and it's wrong. I'm going to prove it's wrong. We proved it was wrong. From 2008 to 2014, we dropped our greenhouse gases 95%. We dropped our particulate matter 95%. We got invited to the Paris climate talks. I was the only provider from the United States at the Paris climate talks in the Blue Zone, got to speak on behalf of the State Department because while the world was making pledges, the team at Gundersen, not me, I didn't do any of this, these engineers, these nurses, these facilities people had built a system that dropped those greenhouse gases that far. The rest of the world saying they want to be 50% down in 20 years. We were at 95% down. We were saving money, so the cost of care was going down, and the local economy was booming. We inspired schools and other hospitals and businesses to join in. The health and well-being of the community was better. Why? Because of rules and regulations? No, because we lived the purpose and the principles of the organization. What does it take? It doesn't take $1 billion. It takes courage. It takes courage to declare your values. When we worked here at camp, we said, this is how we're going to be. This is how we're going to live. This is how we're going to treat each other. Declare your values. Then discipline to follow through. You need the discipline. You need the discipline to stay with it. It's not easy. You have somebody that's very talented somewhere, but they behave really badly. Got to manage it. Got to manage it. They either live the values or they find some other place to thrive, but not with you, not with your team, not with your organization, not with your camp. Many organizations, Boy Scouts, a variety of people have lost their way because they did not have the courage and the discipline to follow their values. And the last is durability, because you'll get beat up along the way. There is no easy button in this. Building companies, building teams, building scout organizations. It's hard work. But you stay with it. I eliminated executive bonuses I told the senior people they had no perks, that everybody is going to be treated the same and everybody with respect. And they said, well, you'll never be able to hire vice presidents or senior people because they all want to go places where they get paid more money. Turns out that was conventional wisdom too, and it was crap. We had people standing in line in a town of 55,000. Every year we had 25,000 people applying for jobs. A lot of school-age children, they're a little young. But there's people from all over applied for jobs. Because we paid the most, we didn't. Because we were in the fanciest place in the country, we were not. Because they wanted to work at a place that served the greater good, that lived by a set of values. You knew what was happening every day when you came to work, how you were going to get treated, and aimed to be better than mediocre, to serve the public and to prove it. My leadership development started here at Canyon Camp. I was influenced by amazing leaders like Roy, like Denny, colleagues of the same group that went on to do fabulous things. There are many, many folks around you. You don't have to do it on your own, but you don't have to compromise your values. Live your values, stay with it, and you too can serve the greater good and make a significant difference in the lives of tens or thousands or millions. Thanks for your attention.